So now we're on to our second form of a parabola that you need to know, and it's called standard form. I think this is what you're familiar with Algebra 1. It is ax squared plus bx plus c. Make sure that you copy down these notes and you have everything, that you know that the vertex is the opposite of b over 2a, and that's for the x. And the y is just plugging it in. Once you find out what the x is, you plug it into the function, and that's how you get your y. Axis of symmetry is the same thing here, opposite of b over 2a. And the maximum or the minimum is going to be, after you plug it in, it's going to be the y version here. So make sure that you pause the video and you copy this. So now that you have written down everything about standard form, which should be more familiar with you again from Algebra 1, we are going to do number 4 together, and then at the end you're going to pause it, you're going to do number 3 on your own, and you're going to check your answer in the back of the book. Okay, so the easiest thing that I think to start, the easiest way to start, would be to write down what your A, your B, and your C is. So A is -2. Oh, there's my clue. Remember, since A was negative, this is actually going to be a sad face parabola. So B is -8 and C is +1. So let's start with the vertex. And if you remember, for the vertex, x is going to be the opposite of b over 2a. So the opposite of b is 8 over 2 times -2, which is going to be 8 over -4, which is going to turn out to be -2. Okay, so right away, I know that my x is going to be -2. So now let's find our y. In order to find our y, we take our x and we're going to plug it into this equation. So I'll do my work over here. -2 times -2 squared minus 8 times -2 plus 1. So make sure you do your exponents first. -2 times 4 plus 16 plus 1. -8 plus 16 plus 1, which makes 8 plus 1, which makes 9. And please make sure to use a calculator to check it. All right, so now that I have my vertex, I can go ahead and I can fill out my axis of symmetry. And remember, it's always an equation. It's going to be x equals -2. And I'm also going to know my maximum or my minimum. And knowing that this is a sad face one, that means that this one is going to be a maximum. And there's going to be a maximum at 9. So let's go ahead and t-chart this. So those are going to be my x's, and this is going to be my p of x, which is -2x squared minus 8x plus 8. Okay, so now we got to do a bunch of math and make sure that we check ourselves in our math and that it's easy to make a mistake. Okay, so we're going to start with our vertex, start that in the middle. It's going to be -2 and 9, and we're going to pick 2 points above it, -1 and 0, and 2 points below it, -3 and -4. All right, so let's first plug in -1. All right, -2 times -1 squared minus 8 times -1 plus 1. That's -2 plus 8 plus 1. That is 6 plus 1, which makes 7. And you're going to do your math again for -3. I bet you'll come out with the same thing. Let's try it. -2 times x squared, so x is -3 squared minus 8 times -3, plus 1. Okay, so this is -2 times 9 plus 24 plus 1. This is -18 plus 24 plus 1. This is 6 plus 1, and it turns out to be 7. That is correct, because it has to mirror each other. So let's plug in 0. Easy. Put a 0 here. Put a 0 here. That means it's going to be 1. So I bet you if we plug in -4, it also is going to be 1. So now let's graph it. Okay, so it's going to be in the negatives. You can see that, and you see that these are in the positives. So let's see how this goes. Draw our graph like this. Let's do our vertex first. I'll always label it. It's very important to have your vertex. -2, and then 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'll put that right there. -1 and 7, which is going to be here, 0 and 1. And so that means -3 and 7, and then -4 and 1. So now let's sketch this parabola. Not the best at it, but it's going to be a curve. Yay. Now, let's do our axis of symmetry. Axis of symmetry is -2. Oh yes, if I fold this in half, right here at -2, both of these sides should match. That is perfect. And notice the highest point on this function, p of x, is at 9, and that is our maximum. So here's our key information. Great. So pause the video. I'd like you guys to do number 3 on your own and check your answer in the back of the book.